Everybody, Rosematter here, and welcome to part 2 of my House in Fata Morgana Let's Play. Thank you guys very, very much for the positive feedback and reaction to the first part. I knew people wanted me to play this, but my goodness, I could not have expected the amount of hype in the comments and everything, so thank you guys for that. It's a very interesting game in terms of, like, its art style is very different. And with our character, the Master, waking up with amnesia, I'm assuming. We have no idea what's going on. There's this maid who is kind of like taking us down the history of the mansion and starting with the Rhodes family with a potentially problematic relationship between the brother and sister, definitely more so on the sister side, and then this white-haired girl, this mysterious girl showing up who Mel has fallen in love with. And I imagine there's going to be some tension between her and Nelly and Mel. There already are hints of it, but I imagine it's going to escalate quite a bit here. So I'm excited to get back into the story, see what happens next, so let's get into it. This may seem sudden, but I must confess that I made a grave mistake. My transgression is that I was unable to completely predict where this path we were traveling led. My hands were full dealing with my immediate day-to-day tasks, so I could do naught but pray there was happiness waiting in the future. Happiness for everyone who lived within Rose Manor. But I am but a mere maid. There are limits to what I am allowed to do, and furthermore, it was not my place to offer her my hand. Roads, such as the one we were following, have a way of diverging with little warning. And if you do not turn the wheel exactly right at those sudden forks, you may end up somewhere horribly off course. I was well aware of that fact, which is why I thought that what I did was for the best. It's happening again. I made sure the door was closed, but I can sense someone standing there. Someone watching me. Footsteps. They're looking down at me? I want to open my eyes, but I can't do it. Versus, you're just going to leave without doing anything, aren't you? Then hurry up and get out of here. Free me from this torture. No, tonight, they're on my bed now, looking down on me. Oh, Jesus, he's got like a sleep demon or something? My neck. What? I can't speak. I can't move. I've never had this happen, but I have heard stories about people talking about when they have like sleep paralysis, and it feels like there's people, someone's pressing on them or like looking at them or touching them, and they can't do anything about it. Ugh. These cold fingers, that soft breath. Is it her? Is it the white-haired girl? Why? I can move my body, but that's not important right now. Oh shit. Okay, yeah, it looks like her. Okay, what in the world? You smell of roses. The scent of a world far removed from ours. Ours, like, I'm thinking she's some sort of... I've been saying all sorts of things. A witch? A vampire? Maybe a ghost? Who is able to take form in the real world? He made to gasp at the sight before him, only to realize he could not. The pressure of her cold fingertips wrapped around his throat robbed him almost entirely of the ability to breathe. The fact that she's cold to the touch makes me think maybe a vampire or some sort of spirit. Why? He silently mouthed the word. For that moment, at least, her melancholic ruby eyes were focused wholly on the flaxen-haired young man. In them glowed a faint flicker of willpower, and a continuously burning agitation that roused her to action. I told you to stop being so kind to me. Why? It will all be over soon. Please don't make any noise. Damn! We are starting off with potentially her murdering this poor kid? What in the world? Why? To put an end to this family. You are my only. Why? Oh my gosh, are you shaking? What? Upon hearing Mel's words, the strength drained from her slender fingers. He had not been questioning why she would do such a thing. There was, of course, a trace of bewilderment visible in his eyes, and even then, she told him not to be kind to her, I guess because it would make things difficult, because she was saying something about, like, either the father or him, so she wants to take down this family, I'm guessing, through you know, whoever the patriarch is, or whoever will inherit the family. But he did not shout, nor did he tremble in fear. He instead expressed concern for the young woman who looked like a cornered rabbit. I am not shaking. You are. I can see it. As he slowly regained his breath, Mel's voice too grew clearer. Conversely, the red-eyed girl's grew progressively more faint and raspy. You are not doing this because you genuinely want to. There's some other reason. This is what I desire. Have you been to my room before? You have. I'm sorry. Well, I'll be damned. Tell me, why are you shaking? You're not putting any pressure on my neck. Why haven't you run? Because I cannot fathom why you would do this, so I'm not afraid. That's a lot of faith he has in this girl he barely knows. Do you hate me so deeply you want me dead? Do you despise me to the point you would be willing to take my life with your own hands? No. No, I don't. See? Like I said, there's another reason. If it isn't because you detest me, then tell me, why is it? I'm sorry. I will leave your room now. I will do my best not to bother you any further, so please forget anything ever. That's awkward. She tried to murder him. I mean, maybe not tried very hard, but still, and now she's just gonna be like, alright, we're just gonna pretend this didn't happen, and I guess I'll just keep working at your house. Do you think I'm just going to say okay and let you go? Why can't you tell me the reason? I'm sorry. Alright, then I'll try and guess. What? It has something to do with your lineage. You're troubled by it somehow, am I right? I thought so. How do you know about that? The priest at the church told me he had seen you before. He also told me a little bit about your origin. But that's all I know. The only difference between us is social rank. I mean, back in those days, that was a pretty big difference. I don't know what would cause you to do this. Please tell me who you really are. Tell me why you came to the mansion, and why Father allowed you to be a maid. I haven't said anything to Mother or Father. If you're hiding the truth from them, they still don't know. But I want to. I won't get mad at you or have you punished. I'll even swear to God if you'd like. I want to be the prince who whisks you away. I want to be like the prince who rescued the girl from the dark mansion and showed her the world. Damn, this guy's in deep. She tried to kill him and he still wants to be with her. I know I'm not that dependable, but I want to help you. He's a good kid. Like I said, he sees... I don't think it's just rose-tinted glasses because he's, like, in love with her. I think he genuinely probably wants to see the best in her and knows that she's not like this. Why do you show me such compassion? Why do you treat me like this? I have my hand around your neck. Why? I thought it would be obvious. Or have I not expressed myself well enough? I love you. Wow, okay. Every time you push away, it crushes me. I didn't even know my heart could feel such distress. If you dislike me and don't want to be with me, then, well, I'll just have to live with that. He's like, but don't try and kill me, please. As much as it may hurt. But if you have some other reason, some weight on your shoulders that you can't share with anyone else, tell me. I want to help you. There are other options. Things we can do about your... No, that's not it. Huh? I've tried to hate you so many times. So yes, there is more to it than just social status. But I can't do it. I couldn't make myself do it. What do you mean? I had so many chances, but I couldn't do anything. That's why she's like, it sucks that you're nice to me because I feel like I have to do this and you're making it hard because you're too nice. The time when being a nice guy actually works out. She spoke in a stifled voice, as if every word had to fight to escape her lips. She appeared so fragile, so precarious looking down on him, that it seemed as though if a gust of wind were to whisk through this room, it would blow her away completely. Her pale fingers were trembling like she had tried to squeeze them again and failed. However, her hand did not pull away from his still slender neck. Her hand is so cold. He did not challenge her, but simply kept his eyes affixed on hers, as if carefully watching to see what she would do next. I'll say it as many times as I must. I love you, and I wouldn't be able to accept losing you without knowing anything. So please tell me the reason. I'll see to it you're taken care of. Those are the words of a man of means, Lord Mel, of someone blessed enough to have pity for others. You are a foolish young man. You know nothing. But the greatest fool of all is myself. If you agree to punish me, I will talk. Well, okay. Tell me. Her long white hair and his soft flaxen hair touched. For just the briefest of moments, it appeared in the darkness as though they'd fused together. The white-haired girl, having finally gathered the courage, began to slowly tell her tale. Alright, well, we're getting some answers. This is good. I wasn't expecting this so soon. On the night of the storm, I paid a visit to Rose Manor, this mansion. My father and I were always on the move, traveling across the land by foot. So it was only recently that we heard rumors of Rose Manor. There are several reasons we couldn't stay in one place. First is my unusual appearance. People often find the color of my skin or eyes disconcerting. So after living in one place for long enough, unsettling rumors would begin to spread, forcing us to leave. Another reason was my father's line of work. He painted pictures for a living. Ah, okay, so that's why she's so drawn to paintings. I had a feeling paintings were going to play a big part of this, the fact that, like, things are drawn like a painting. And looking into the different doors and looking at the paintings, almost like looking into the past. It was that whole thing about how a painting is like the past and present, or something that they said the last episode. He had trouble finding a patron, so he had to work day to day. When he was no longer able to find work in a city, we would move. We were birds that migrated without a flock. When we arrived at this town, my father was exhausted and weak. That is when we learned of Rose Manor, and the family who dwelled within it. Rhodes is a family my father could never forget. He was, long ago, a painter in service of the Rose family. Ooh! Oh, maybe that's why she was so drawn to the painting, is maybe her father painted that picture of him and Nelly when they were kids. Hold on. Your father was an artist here? Yes. It was before I was born. You probably don't remember, Lord Mel. So you knew about us before you came here. For as long as I can remember, I've known the name Rhodes. Oh, my father was chased from your house, just because they didn't like something he painted. Well, having failed the Rhodes family, no one else would become his patron. Just as a good reputation spreads, so too does a bad one. Branded once as a failure, no one will take you in ever again. You nobles throw your parties and spread your gossip about this painter or that sculptor. The rose you tried to give me is an example of that. It was certainly crafted with skill, but the jeweler is only known because some aristocrat spoke highly of him. Oh, that's why she was so, like, triggered by that thing, was just like, oh, how long is it going to be before you speak ill of that jeweler and then he won't be able to find work? My father's paintings were no less skillful. His was a talent that could not be easily imitated, but no one was willing to separate the art from the artist. The Rhodes family stole everything from my father, but even thrown out on the streets, his only skill was painting. That was all he could do to earn a living. What little money we had for food, he gave to me. He did anything he could to ensure my survival, even at the expense of his own well-being. My father passed away in this town. Oh, up until his last breath, he was only ever concerned about me. He held me in his arms and ran his fingers through my hair, an apologetic look on his face. If I had a normal appearance, I'm sure life would have been much easier. He was always telling me how sorry he was for making life so hard, even though it's not his fault I look like this. I disdained the Rhodes family for putting my father through such hardship. I imagined you were still living in decadence, acting as though nothing had ever happened. No, you wouldn't even care about the fate of one simple painter. Our lives meant nothing to you, and so I sought to bring misfortune upon you. And that's why you tried to kill me, but then Mel had to go and be so damn nice to her. In truth, I'd wanted to take the master's life, but your father spent so much time outside the mansion. And so, you're right, if they lost me, it would put my family in a very difficult position. That is the whole of my tale. You now know about my father, and how I feel about you. Having told you of the blackness in my heart, I cannot go on living like nothing has changed. Please, give me punishment. Why? Why would you have me put the one I love through any more misery? I am not fit for your affection. Not only because I am not aristocratic, but because every time I spoke with you, I did so holding this darkness in my heart. Does that not unnerve you? In the end, it was my father's action, or my family's actions, that caused you so much suffering. Would that your father were still alive. Perhaps I could have done something. I'm sorry. And besides, you hesitated. You didn't actually kill me. What am I even to punish you for? Well, I mean, attempted murder is a thing. As you said, you had countless opportunities, but you could not bring yourself to do it. Tell me, why couldn't you kill me? Because If it's because I've given you enough reason to have even the slightest bit of interest in me. Nothing was as I envisioned it. What? I assumed the residents of Rose Manor would be cold, people who believed that wealth and rank mattered above all. But on the night of the storm, the mistress was the first one to extend her hand to me. I arrived at the mansion disguised as a beggar. Actually, disguised is not the right word. As many nights I only survived on the generosity of others. The mistress did not send me away when she saw me. Quite the opposite. She took me in as a servant. So that was Mother's doing. I could scarcely believe she would invite a stranger into her home, that she would treat a stranger with such compassion. I thought perhaps she knew who my father was. But I'd never met any of you before, so she must simply be that kind-hearted a woman. And the mistress continued to treat me with kindness, despite my disquieting appearance and the darkness in my heart. She's like, your sister's kind of bitchy, though. Your sister's a little much. In time, I began to grow less and less sure of myself. Was what I meant to do truly right? Were the things I felt truly justified? But it was a certain fact that my father was here, and that he had been chased out. So I'm wondering if it is that straightforward, or maybe there's something missing there, and she has things all wrong. I mean, maybe the father was the one who did that, and the rest of the family didn't know at all? So I decided I should take your life, to put an end to everything before I wavered any further. And then... You were too kind to me. It's all your fault. Because you laugh with such affection. Because you give me smiles like that. Because you say the things you say. I'm sorry. No, don't apologize. I'm so happy to hear that, despite, the unusual circumstances. Yeah, this is the weirdest meet cute ever. Please, don't say you want to leave. Don't ask me to punish you. I couldn't do anything for your father, but at least allow me to do something for the daughter he cared for so dearly. You are far too kind-hearted. I'll be happier with you around. You can become a real aristocrat. She's like, I don't want that, though. She just talked about how much she hates aristocrats. Huh? There are families that would be willing to adopt you, especially knowing it would bring them ties to the Road family in the near future. Are you saying, as long as you're okay with that, of course? I don't understand how you could possibly say that. I have my hand around your neck even as we speak. It seems reasonable enough to me. I'm desperately looking for some way to not have to lose you. But I couldn't. I don't know any etiquette or social customs. How could I? You can learn all of that. You're pretty and naturally graceful. You'll do just fine. You are such an aristocrat, Lord Mel. What? The way you can come up with compliments so easily. Only for you. Nelly says my poetry has as much charm as a dissertation. I don't understand theater. It puts me to sleep. You laughed, thank goodness. Ah, keep smiling. You don't have to stop. A smile on your face is a smile on mine. Damn, this boy, most of the time he's been so awkward, but right here in this moment, he is smooth as fuck. No matter how deep the darkness has taken root in your heart, it can always be removed. I believe people are capable of forging their own futures. What do you say we go to the theater sometime? I promise I won't sleep through it. At the private theater, we can get seats at the far end of the second floor so we don't have to stand. They'd be pretty lavish seats, and it would give you a chance to experience the noble life. So, this guy is simping for her so hard that she has tried to murder him, and he's turning around and trying to go on a date with her. But please, don't be shy. Or he's smooth as hell, and going from her trying to murder him to, will she actually agree to this? I can have clothes prepared for you. I'll ask one of the maids who can keep a secret. Say the one with the black hair. She kind of scares me, though. I don't know what I'm supposed to say. How could you show such compassion for me? I tried to inflict harm upon you. Am I allowed to feel such joy? For every day you suffered, a day of happiness. That's how it has to be. So stand by my side. He softly whispered the girl's name. For several long moments, her lips trembled in trepidation. But in time, she squeezed them together and made a smile. The bastard did it! He did it! He wrapped his arms around her unbelievably slender, frail frame, holding her tight in an affectionate embrace. I don't think his sister's gonna be too happy about this. Both because she's not a noble, and also because she seems to be very unnaturally close and possessive over him. Mel approached me the next day. He explained to me the course of events, and asked me to dress her up more beautifully than any other noble girl had ever been. She was already a very pretty girl, so even without much effort on my part, simply putting her in a dress, she radiated beauty. I was quite partial to her smile, so I agreed to help, thinking that if it would lead to their happiness, I could not ask for anything more. I never anticipated what would happen next, though. Ooh, what? Uh-oh, something bad's gonna happen. Perhaps my hopes were unreasonable after all. I'm guessing it's something to do with the sister. That's my guess. Sister's gonna fuck this up somehow. Or maybe everybody will like, oh, there's Nelly. I was thinking either that or maybe people would like speak ill of the girl because of her her looks. Now, Nelly, you love the theater, so don't look so cross. Oh, she's going on a... That's right, the ending with her saying that she didn't want to be married, so she's like on this date with this guy she doesn't want to be with, and then she's probably going to see her brother with this girl and be furious. Nelly was out with a man other than her brother that evening. A rare sight indeed, yeah. And she was quite clearly in a foul mood. I will not stand for this. That I should have to marry a man as disagreeable as Arthur. It's unthinkable. The young man at her side was Nelly's fiancé, selected by her parents. Well, that was quick. On any other occasion, she would have snubbed an invitation from any man who was not Mel. But she had little say in this matter. I feel bad for her. She's like, what, 15 years old? I can understand why she would be so upset, but I still have a bad feeling about if she sees this girl and Mel together. She was, for lack of a better word, forced to go out with him. And oh, how furiously she had fought against it. She had shoved aside the Abigail trying to fasten her corset, locked herself in her room and sobbed for quite some time. It required the combined efforts of several of us to get her ready and out the door for her date. Come now, you should at least pretend you're enjoying yourself. Or do you want people to think we don't get along? Do we get along? Well, I want to for what it's worth. What it's worth to you is my name, not me. Are you really going to be like that? I went out of my way to take you to your favorite play. The least you could do is be a little kinder to me. What was it called again? Romeo and Juliet? It's been running for 6 or 7 years now. A family like yours or mine could pay to have a brand new script written. I was gonna say, this seems like it might be a little bit of Romeo and Juliet in terms of like Mel and this girl, the white-haired girl. I still don't know what her name is. You know, they're from different families and maybe they shouldn't be together because of, you know, their names and everything. Although we don't know the girl's name, actually. Like, we just know that she is not of the proper social status for him. And Romeo and Juliet ends in death, so I'm like, maybe it's gonna be leading up to that. So why should we have to see an old play at a theater full of commoners? It may be private, but even so. I would rather just have a show put on at my estate. Stop talking already. Why should I have to marry someone like you? I have absolutely no desire to marry you. And I think Arthur was the one she was talking about at her birthday party. She's like, I hate that guy. Whatever it takes, I will put a stop to this. I'll talk to father as many times as I must. Please don't make such a scene. It's shameful. There are people around. Remember, you represent your family. Besides, our families are hardly strangers to one another. Try as you might, I doubt you can get rid of me. No matter what you say, you can't break this engagement. You don't. Your parents gave you too much freedom, and look at what a spoiled little girl you became because of it. I know she is spoiled. She's a little bit of a brat, but in this case, I totally agree. Like, how shitty is that to be forced to marry someone you don't want to marry? At such a young age, too. Goodness, you're going to be quite the handful. Oh, get off your high horse. I like the fact that she speaks your mind in that aspect. No, you're the one on a high horse, Nelly. You're going to be my wife. You could at least put some effort into liking me. What happens when I take you to a social engagement and you act like this? It's shameful to the both of us. This coming from someone who used to call me Lady Nelly. What's your problem? When you choose to act like a lady, I'll gladly call you that again. Goodness gracious. Put yourself in my shoes for a second. I have to marry a bratty little girl because it will help my family. How dare you talk about me that way? You're not a damn princess. Open your eyes. If you think talking to your father will get you out of this marriage, you're welcome to try. I doubt he'll have it, though. Well, no, the father was the one who set this up in the first place. Otherwise, you can just go complain about it to your friends. Oh, that's right. As far as I'm aware, you don't have any friends. Oh boy, he's gonna dig and be like, you just have your brother. That's all you care about is your brother. Enough. As you wish. This is so frustrating. Why should I have to listen to this jerk mock me? I have Mel. I know. If father won't listen to me, I'll ask Mel to talk to him. Mel will be able to convince him. Come on now, your favorite play is about to start. Maybe you should face forward. Enjoy it while it lasts. You won't be talking down to me much longer. Oh, I can't wait for that moment. Oh, I think it's happening right now. What? I want to see what the girl looks like in her pretty dress. The white hair girl. Is that? Wait, Nelly. Get back here. What is that damn child's problem? I didn't give her permission to leave. Father will be sure to hear about this. I cannot have the Rhodes making any more of a fool of me. Oh, here's that confrontation. It's gonna be bad. You're fine. Don't be shy. Oh, she does look very pretty, but so many people are looking at me. That's because you're gorgeous. No, it's because I look strange. I assure you, that's not the case. It is true you have an unusual appearance, but right now, the unique color of your hair, your skin, and your eyes all serve to accentuate your beauty. You sound like a prince, Lord Mel. What? You think so? I mean, I did say I'd be a stand-in prince for you, but I think you're a wonderful prince, not just a stand-in. Which makes you my princess, then. Oh, Nelly's not gonna like that. I don't... You're supposed to say, yes, I am there. You're going to make me sad. I guess I'll just have to keep working at it until you submit. Oh, Mel. Poor choice of words. Oh, hey, the play's about to start. What am I supposed to be doing? Nothing in particular. Just sit back and enjoy the show. Oh, but there is one thing. Yes? If I start dozing off, could you maybe wake me up? Ah, uh-oh. This is gonna be no good. What? Dearest Mel. Nelly? Dearest Mel, why are you... What are you doing here? Oh, especially because she asked him to go to the play with her, and he didn't want to go with her because he's like, oh, it puts me to sleep. And now he's here with this girl who's just like a servant girl. I asked her to join me. It's nothing to get worked up over. It is. It absolutely is. How many times did I ask you to come with me, and you wouldn't? You don't even like theater, dearest Mel, and you brought her? You're right, I'm not especially fond of plays, but I wanted her to be able to see one. Why are you making such a big deal of this, Nelly? She's not suitable for you. What? She isn't good enough for you. Why would you choose her? She's creepy and you have no idea where she came from. Don't talk about her like that, Nelly. But you don't even know who her family is. I do. What? Lord Mel. It's fine. You just stay quiet. Like the other maids, she comes from a respectable house. I looked into it. However, circumstances prevent me from telling you what house it is. No, you're lying. That can't be. She doesn't act like a lady. She lacks etiquette, and she probably can't even dance. You expect me to believe someone like her is from a good house? Enough already, Nelly. Mel yelled at me. You have my word. You don't have to worry about her. So please, stay out of this, Nelly. It isn't any of your business if I spend time with her, is it? But, dearest Mel... You need to stop hanging all over me, Nelly, and find someone for... Wait. What are you doing at the theater? Are you here alone? Ah. Oh, yes, dearest Mel, about that. I have a favor to ask of you. I've been wanting to talk to you about this since yesterday, but I haven't seen you at all. Settle down, Nelly. What is it? Father had me engaged without consulting me, and he picked Arthur, that disagreeable little... Oh, right, that. I already know. Oh, gee, she's gonna be more pissed off about it. What? I heard it from Father. That reminds me, you didn't show up at breakfast this morning. I see now. It was because of your engagement. Dearest Mel, is that who you're here with today? In that case, you should get back to him rather than waste any more time with us. I bet Mel saw that as like a little bit of a positive for him. Be like, maybe she'll just like stop hanging all over me. I feel bad for Nelly too, the fact like she was hoping her brother would be able to help her, and he already knew and he doesn't give a shit at all. You knew I didn't want to get married, Mel, so why? Why didn't you talk Father out of it? Because it's your time, Nelly. If there's someone else you'd rather be with, then, well, you can try persuading Father, but... You're the only prince for me, dearest Mel, and a prince always grants his princess's wish. Doesn't he? I just want you to say you'll do that for me, dearest Mel. Lady Nelly, you stay out of this. It's all your fault. It's all because you showed up and played your little tricks on him. I warned you about this rat, dearest Mel. She is not suitable for... I told you, I'd had enough already. Oh shit, did he slap her? How much longer are you going to continue acting like a child? I can deal with you being a spoiled little girl, but how dare you be so derisive to someone else? Mel, hit me. Lord Mel. Go on, the show's about to start. People are giving us dirty looks. Return to your betrothed now. I will apologize to him afterwards as well. Damn! Okay, Mel, like, I guess the characters can't all be perfect. This is the thing, it's like, even though they're not perfect, I understand where they're coming from. Like, I understand Nelly's frustration, I understand Mel's frustration, and I don't agree with the slap, and then for him to be like, I slapped you, and also I'm going to apologize to your fiance for you acting up. Even though, like, it's totally understandable why she'd be acting up. You said you'd always be by my side. That you would always be my prince. The time for make-believe is past, Nelly. No, no, I refuse to believe it. I will not have it. Nelly! My goodness, that girl. Are you not going to go after her, Lord Mel? No, just let her go. The only place she even has to go is home. I just wish she'd start acting a little bit more like an adult. I imagine Lady Nelly simply... She what? No, it just wasn't my intention to get between you. I think she yeah, the white hair girl, like, she totally knows that Nelly has weird feelings for her brother, and she's like, ugh. I'm not gonna say anything. Don't blame yourself. It's not your fault we had an argument. But you two are so close. Well, yeah, we're siblings, so we're close, but nothing more. The white girl, she's like, are you sure about that? I know you feel that way. I don't think your sister feels that way, though. I do care about Nelly, and I do enjoy spending time with her. But she's my sister, nothing more. Anyway, sorry for making such a scene. No, I imagine she left her betrothed behind without saying anything, so I'm going to go apologize to him. We have to keep up appearances. Stay here. I'll be right back. Oh gosh. I'm afraid. Just gonna leave the white hair girl alone. Nelly might come back and like push her off the balcony or something. I'm just like, I'm waiting for something bad to happen. Master, what are your thoughts on the tale so far? Which of the siblings do you think was in the right, Master? The brother or the sister? Oh my, I apologize for the abrupt question. Did I startle you? Am I actually gonna have to answer? I was told I should probably save before every choice. Apparently there aren't that many choices to make, but I will save beforehand. What do I think? Yes, I believe Mel was probably right. He was also surely happier than her. As Mel had anticipated, Nelly fled from the theater, leaving her fiancé behind. She forced her way into a carriage stopped outside. Probably one called for a different nobleman and ordered it to take her home. Mel's assumption was correct. The only place she had to return to was the mansion. The sun was beginning to set, and as a young lady, she could not simply go wandering through town alone. Nor did she have any acquaintances to take her in. Her world was, in essence, composed of two elements, her brother and the rose garden. They were the light of her life at Rose Manor. She lived a very isolated existence. When she escaped back home, Nelly went straight to her room, locked the door, and began sobbing. The waves of her sorrow came crashing effortlessly over the levees. Tears streamed through the cracked walls of the dams, blocking her tear ducts. Why won't you help me, Mel? Why won't you take my side? The decor in her room appeared blurry through her damp eyes. Memories of the day she had it redecorated played back in her mind with crystal clarity. She told me she had no feelings for you. That liar! That liar! She let her emotions run wild, breaking glass craftworks, silver plates designed by famous foreign artisans, flower vases, all sorts of things. It was as though a beast had been set loose in her bedchamber. The vase she tossed shattered against a painting hanging on the wall, spraying water, porcelain, and roses in every direction. It was the portrait she adored so dearly, of her and her brother. And in what appeared to be her like a metaphor for her life, the frame fell off its mounting and came crashing to the floor. Nelly darted over and scooped it up. The frame had broken, but the painting inside was unharmed. I bet it must have been painted by the girl's father, right? The two smiling children were still the very image of happiness. Inseparable siblings gently holding one another's hand. I'm guessing that's why the white-haired girl, she must know her father's painting style, and that's why she was drawn to it. My prince is no more. Though in her present state of mind, that image of happiness brought her nothing but misery. And the worse she felt, the more frustrated she grew at the smiling girl and kind boy of her past. The princess is no more either. You're not a princess anymore, Nelly. Some other woman has taken your place. I trusted you, Mel. I believed you would always be there for me. This painting is nothing but a lie. It's not the real Mel. That's not the real me. It's all a big fat lie. A lie. I wish this painting never existed. That it was never made. That I never had a brother. This painting. This painting. In a fit of emotional distress, she scratched feverishly at the painting she once considered precious. She put more force into her fingers than she, or perhaps anyone, might have imagined she could. Flakes of paint began falling off the canvas, and in time she noticed something peculiar. Huh? What is this writing? Something's hidden behind the paint. Just a little more. A date? Why would that be hidden? What could it be for? Completed May 1587. Wait, what? 1587? Wait, when does this take place again? She read aloud the faded, scratched-up handiwork. After staring blankly at the text for some time, the color in her face began to drain. What is this? How? How could this have been painted 16 years ago? I wasn't even born yet then, and Mel would have been just a baby. Is this not me? Is this not Mel? There's still more writing. Urged on by her rapidly pounding heart, Nelly furiously scratched away at the painting. Even as her clean pink fingernails were soiled with fragments of paint and blood, she did not stop. She was so overwhelmed by trepidation that she could not stop. She had a horrible premonition that something was about to happen. Something indescribable, incomprehensible. This is how I envision your son and our unborn daughter might look several years from now. Your son and our unborn daughter. So this was a painting of the future. Then it really is of me and Mel. No, use your head, stupid. I'm only 14. 16 years ago, I would not have even been inside Mother. Oh shit, does that mean that... Okay. I'm guessing that maybe there's a secret daughter? Okay, wait a minute. So, like, either the daughter was, like, So does that mean another sister? Maybe a sister that was either stillborn or didn't make it? What if it was the white-haired girl somehow? It was like actually Mel's sister that he didn't know about. Bum bum bum. Except the hair is very different. Because she's got blonde hair in this picture too, whoever this girl is. But then who is this? Who is that holding Mel's hand? Who is that with my brother? More, there has to be. Ow. Found it. There's more writing. I have to know what this is. Calm down, Nelly. That wouldn't make any sense, because the girl has a father who's not this... I'm so confused right now. How wild would that be, though, if this white-haired girl actually ended up being, like, a secret sister he didn't know about, and then they start dating? It's nothing to get worked up over. I'm sure it's nothing. Calm down and read. There's nothing to worry about. If our unborn child... This is what the writing on the painting said. If our unborn child does not have your hair color, then you will probably not be able to take her in as your own, implying that it is the white-haired girl. Oh, shit. Because they said envision. This is how I envision them to be, because they both have blonde hair. Oh my gosh. I will be punished and my life made miserable. And so I pray the child might have flaxen hair. Oh my gosh. Though it is a sin to wish... though is it a sin to wish she has in her a trace of me? I do hope it is a girl. Oh my god, I think it might be. That would be just wild. What am I reading? It's all the thing about the hair, right? Different hair. I don't get it. Someone tell me. What does this mean? A painting from 16 years ago. Hair color. Sin. And people think that the white hair, right? The white hair, the red eyes is like a sign that there's something wrong with the white-haired girl. And she said, I hope there's a little bit of me, so maybe this girl... Because I said maybe it's like albinism. Because like they tend to have like pink eyes, white hair, very pale. So maybe the genes got passed along. I do hope it is a girl. Oh, it is white! It's white! It's white-haired, isn't it? Oh my gosh. Wild. Wild. If that's the case, then Mel, no matter what, it's just like he seems to end up with a sister. Oh my god, yes? It's Nelly. Let me in. Lady Nelly? Oh, you changed out of your dress. That's a shame. It looked nice on you. It really did look so nice. Almost like you were a princess. Lady Nelly? Say, I've got a question for you. Do you mind? By all means. What color hair did your father have? I beg your pardon? Did you not hear me? Should I repeat the question? No, I assumed it would be about Lord Mel. I'm just so curious about where you got that white color from. My father was more tan than white, so I didn't inherit my paleness from anyone. I asked about your father's hair color. Oh shit, is that the real reason? Is that the real reason that the painter father got chased off, is because the mother had an affair? Oh shit, and then maybe that's why the mother actually took this girl in. It wasn't out of the kindness of her heart. It's because the mother realized, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is my daughter that basically got cast away. Oh shit, why would you want to... There's no reason you can't tell me, is there? I could be totally wrong, but I feel like my father had white hair, but that was simply because he was an older man. I do not think he was born with... Ha! Ha ha! Lady Nelly? Ha! Ha ha ha! Hee hee hee! Oh my gosh. Hey, guess what? I figured it out. I figured it all out. And it was so simple. There's only one difference between you and me. The thing that Mel fell for is... Why do you have those? No, stay back. Oh shit! Is she gonna like cut her hair off? Or maybe take her eyes out? Whoa, this is wild. I love that Nelly's thing is like, I have a chance to be with Mel. He fell in love with his sister. He just didn't realize it. It was just the wrong sister. We have finally reached the point in the tale, Master. If your memory has been refreshed, then we can return to the mansion immediately. Very well, then. If you insist, Master, we shall proceed with the story. Yeah, you cannot end it there. I need to know what happens. This got wild. It started off slow, but I am like, I'm in now. It was a stormy night, much like the one the white-haired girl had first arrived on. It was quiet as a crypt in the mansion, not a single light visible in the halls. The house sat in wait for the sun to peek out over the horizon. Darkness is, generally speaking, something that rushes by like a gust of wind as we sleep. The flaxen-haired young man, too, lay in bed, pale blue moonlight sporadically streaming through the gaps in his drawn velvet curtains as he attempted to submit to slumber. Oh gosh, I'm just imagining that Nelly scalped the white-haired girl and is gonna sneak into his bedroom wearing the white hair and be like, Mel, do you love me? Are you attracted to me now? He was having difficulty drifting off, but as time trickled onward, he drew closer and closer to the arms of Morpheus. Oh my god, please. If I'm right, I am gonna lose my mind. Suddenly, he sensed a presence in the room, much like the one from those nights some weeks earlier. Is someone there? He's probably gonna think it's the white-haired girl and be like, oh, hi, and then it's actually Nelly. Answer me. A slender, feminine finger pressed gently against his lips. There was no hostility in the motion, but rather a great deal of affection. The silhouette faintly visible in the dark room was the same as that night. It's totally Nelly. It's totally Nelly. A flash of lightning shone through the drawn curtains, illuminating her beautiful white hair. It's Nelly! She did! Oh my god! Am I right? Several silky locks spilled over her shoulders and brushed against Mel's cheeks. A couple soft puffs of air tickled his face, as though she were silently laughing. He assumed her finger, held against his lips, was her way of telling him to stay quiet. She began to slowly, delicately trace the outline of his mouth. Oh god, I had a feeling this was going into some incest territory. Moving down his cheek and along his jawline as if over porcelain. You're, rather more forward than I remember. Well, I suppose you always were quite daring. This isn't the first time you've sneaked into my bedchamber. The boy said in an attempt to conceal his surprise. Do you remember the night she came to exact revenge on him for her father? Indeed, she had proven herself to be a rather bold girl once already. It's dark. I can't see you very well, oh god. Why don't I light a lamp? Or perhaps we could open the... Oh gosh, before he could finish, the white-haired girl sealed his lips with her own. In the near-total darkness of his bedchamber, the two shadows appeared as one. Is he gonna have sex with his... Well, I guess no matter what, it's gonna be his sister regardless. Oh god. Oh god. The two shadows appeared as one. Oh, icky! They remained that way for several minutes. Their kiss was innocent, no more than the pressing together of two pairs of lips, and at the same time the white-haired girl lovingly ran her fingertips across his skin. When their lips separated, Mel gasped for air. It seemed he had been holding his breath. Slightly embarrassed at himself, he said, Ah, it is, dearest Mel. Oh gosh. Oh, I can't believe I was right. Oh gosh. Oh god, this so... Nothing. He could not speak. The silhouette hanging above him was certainly the white-haired girl's. Or was it? Because his next words were, Get off me! He reflexively shoved the girl straddling him aside. She rolled off the bed, landing on the cold floor. But slowly, gradually, she crawled her way back toward him. That wasn't very nice. Veiled in darkness, she slowly lifted her head. And then, there was another flash of lightning. The heavy fabric of the curtains rustled, bolts of light streaming between the gaps. Oh god. So creepy. Her flaxen irises glimmered, though in the bluish-white light, they took on a twinge of almost golden glow. No need to be so rough. This isn't the first time she's visited your bedchamber, is it, Mel? Or did I not kiss you the same way? Tell me, how does she run her fingers along your skin? What does she do when she nuzzles up to you? Stop. Stop this madness, Nelly. Why would you do this? Because you like white hair, don't you, Mel? You like white hair, which is why you fell for her, isn't it? So if I have white hair, then you'll fall for me too. Then I can be your princess again, dearest Mel. What are you even talking about? And I'm guessing back in those days they didn't have, you couldn't just go to the drugstore and buy like a white hair dye. He could not escape from his sister's piercing gaze. It's only going to be a matter of time before he's going to be like, where did you get that hair from? Why? What happened? How could she? Questions crashed into the young man's mind like waves in a stormy sea, but none of them found answers. They simply caused him further perplexity. Your hair. What happened to your hair? How did you get it that color? Oh, this? Hee hee. Damn. You like my wig? But as soon as the words left her mouth, Mel was in motion, propelled by pure instinct. He clenched Nelly's shoulders tight enough to dig his fingers into her flesh. You're hurting me, Mel. What did you do to her? Tell me, what did you do? I made her leave. It was a perfectly reasonable decision. She was obviously not nobility, and thus hardly fit to be a part of this household. But there's no need to worry, Mel. I'm here to take her place. You sound like a mad woman. It doesn't matter if she was of noble blood or not. She promised she would stay by my side. So why? How could you do that to her? I promised you that long before she ever did. And I love you far more than she did, Mel. Have you lost your mind? You're not making any sense. Where is she now? What is she doing? It's always her with you. What more could you want from me? Tell me, what does she have that I don't? What do I have to do to get you to focus on me, and only me? We're siblings. Don't you understand what you're doing? Oh, this is when she'd be like, well, she is too. Oh, I understand it quite well. Far better than you, dearest Mel. I even know that a former queen was executed for it. But if we don't get caught, there's no problem. Nelly, are you saying you've always felt this way about me? Oh my, you didn't notice, dearest Mel? You truly are a dense one. I guess romance just isn't your strong suit. But you've noticed now, haven't you? You know exactly how I feel about you, right? Quit it. Enough. Don't say anything else. Stop. Stop having these insane feelings for me. It's disgusting. Hee hee hee. Ha ha ha. What are you laughing about? Poor Mel, content in your complete ignorance. All right, I'll tell you everything. Mel, you can only love blood-related women. Huh? His cackling sister appeared to him like some kind of inhuman life form. Her actions an incomprehensible I'm a little shaken, too. Exclamations slowly drained him of his strength. What kind of deranged nonsense is that? I love her. She's your sister, Mel. Huh, very funny. How far out of your mind have you gone, Nelly? Poor Mel. Do you honestly know nothing? Say that her father was a painter? He painted pictures for a living. What of it? For a time, her father painted for our family. You've seen the picture before, dearest Mel. The one hanging in my room of the two of us. That was painted by her father. He did a good job, didn't he? I kept asking and asking until you finally agreed to hold my hand. And how did you feel about that? You were rather embarrassed, weren't you? Do you remember that day, dearest Mel? You couldn't possibly remember it. But there's a chance you might remember this. Before we moved to this mansion, we had a painter with white hair. I don't remember any such thing. He was, long ago, a painter in service of the Rhodes family. But that painter did something very, very bad, and because of that, he couldn't remain a part of our household. Do you know what he did, Mel? He lay with Mother. My father was chased from your house. If the child had been born with flaxen hair, then the painter would not have been thrown out. The baby would have been accepted as part of the family. But that wasn't how it turned out. The child had white hair. She didn't look at all like she carried the Rhodes family blood. But see, Mother had me. That I'm here is all the proof you need. The girl born 16 years ago didn't have flaxen hair. Up until his last breath, he was only ever concerned about me. Oh my gosh, this is wild. He held me in his arms and ran his hands through my hair, an apologetic look on his face. You're talking total nonsense. What proof do you have? If you want to see it, I'll gladly show you. The artist left a message in the painting in my room. Tell me, am I truly wrong? What did that girl tell you? You're lying. What part of it is a lie, Mel? Everything I'm telling you is the truth. Why don't you go ask Mother? I'm sure she would throw quite the fit. Mother wouldn't. Yeah, the mistress did not send me away when she saw me. Quite the opposite. She took me in as a servant. It never made sense to me. Why would she hire a maid she knew nothing about? Someone who just showed up at the door one day. And when I asked Mother to make her my maid, she stubbornly refused. From a good house? Don't make me laugh. If she were really nobility, she would have given us her name. But Mother was so desperate to cover up her mistake. That doesn't make any sense. I don't believe a word you're saying. It couldn't possibly be true. Wouldn't it be nice if you could bury your head in the sand? But Mel, feigning ignorance is a sin. No, I refuse to believe it. Not a chance in hell. You just don't understand anything. How I feel, how much I've suffered. Do you have any idea how long I've loved you, knowing you would never accept my affection? But then, fancy that. You fell in love with your half-sister. Then I should qualify for your love too, shouldn't I, Mel? Stop it. Enough. Shut your mouth. Not another word. I don't believe any of this. Mel. Ha ha ha. I know you'll never love me. I know there's nowhere for me to run. Say, when we were kids, was that really me? Was I really by your side, Mel? If that painting tells the whole truth, I was never once did I get to be your princess. Not even once. Damn, this got crazy. I can't believe I called it. Dearest Mel, everyone just loves to dote on me. They're always telling me how pretty I am. Mother does, father does, and all the maids do too. I can do anything I want, so for me, acting like a spoiled child is the only form of rebellion I have. I don't have the kind of freedom you do, Mel. I'm just a doll for the family to play with. When I have visitors, it's only ever for show. So it's not my fault I don't have friends. I mean, in that way, if that's literally her brother is the only person that she was able to really, like, have a relationship with, I could kind of see how she would just, like, bond with him a little bit too hard. Dearest Mel, you're the only one who's ever cared about me more than anything in the world. Dearest Mel, I always knew how I would react if you fell in love. I would cry my eyes out. I would envy her to death. I would get angry as a bull. But eventually, I would have given up. I knew I could never have it my way after all. My feelings would never bear fruit. So why did she have to be your sister? Tell me, why? Oh, dearest Mel, here you are again reading such hard books. Your eyes will go bad if you spend too long staring at pages. I'll be fine, Nelly. It's not like I'm reading 24 hours a day. No, that's not good enough. If your eyes go bad, dearest Mel, you won't be able to see me anymore. You worry too much. I can see you fine and well, my princess. Your hair glimmering like the sun and your beautiful smile. I can see you clear as day, and that'll never change. Hee hee hee. Plus, the skies are clear today, so you're even more radiant than usual. You know, this is my favorite season. Winter's cold and there's so much rain, I can't stand it. But as it gets closer to my birthday, the clouds go away, and I just adore the sun. Ah yes, it's almost your birthday, isn't it? Have you decided what you're going to ask Father for? Not yet. I want pretty dolls and shoes with sparkling gems. And I also want a pretty dress, like the ones Mother wears. A list that long is asking a bit much, even for Father. But dearest Mel, I already have what I want the most. So the truth is, as long as I have that, I don't need anything else. Oh, and what would that be? The hairpin they bought for you the other day? Or maybe the song they had written for you last year? None of that, dearest Mel. Huh, then what could it be? Now I'm really curious. What is it that's so valuable to you? That's a secret. Girls have so many secrets, I just don't know what to do. Hee hee hee. Say, dearest Mel, would you run your fingers through my hair? Oh boy, just for a little bit. Oh, what's gotten into you, Nelly? Why are you so hungry for attention all of a sudden? Please, dearest Mel. Oh, Nelly, what am I going to do with you? Come over here. It's just like that flash to like, ugh, red, red. Hee hee. And I want to sit on your lap. Yes, yes, as you wish, my beautiful, beautiful little princess. Say, dearest Mel, what is it this time, Nelly? Right now, I'm so incredibly happy. Oh, and out of curiosity, who was it that you really cared for, or you really cared so much about? I was, I mean, did Nelly just basically like scalp this girl and just kick her out of the house? Oh God, she's gotta be in rough shape. In a fervid frenzy, Mel fled from the mansion. Even in early summer, the night was cold. And to make matters worse, raindrops pelted him from head to toe. I wonder if he's gonna see her out on the street and she's just gonna see her bloody scalp and she's gonna be like covered up. But that caused him little discomfort, for a far greater maelstrom of pain rampaged within his breast. At night, the town took on a different appearance. Not simply for lack of illumination, but the people active within it as well. It was not a suitable place for a young aristocratic man to go wandering unattended. The darkness is not only the abode of devils, but of beggars, thieves, criminals, and all manner of things undesirable. But despite that, he continued to run, knowing not where he was to head. He simply went where his feet took him. And where he arrived was the church. Now, whether she'll be there. Because that's where the priest found her, right? Father! Father! God. God should be able to offer me counsel, to answer all my questions. About that painting, about her, and about Nelly's feelings. Not her lies, but the truth. Please, open the door. Open the door! But, as you might expect, the door was locked, and the priest showed no signs of responding to his calls. The sound of the pouring rain drowned out everything else. Nuh. His head drooped feebly. He looked like a helpless little calf who had wandered, alone, onto a dark, precarious mountain path with no end in sight. Why? Why won't anyone tell me the truth? All I want is for someone to tell me it's not true. Have I sinned? No, I didn't know anything. I didn't know. No, no, none of it is true, so I haven't done anything wrong. I'm not at fault, am I? Nevertheless, his sister's claims and her laughs continued to echo within his head. If he truly believed it to be false, he would have gone to look at the painting. That he could not was an indication that uncertainty had a stronger grip on him. Fragmented images of a white-haired painter fluttered through the back of his mind, but he desperately shoved them aside. What good is the church? What good is theology? What good is God? What? Something moved near the boy. It stood immediately behind him and grasped his light dressing gown. He had been so consumed in his own world, he had not noticed the person's presence until they were close enough to touch him. It's gotta be her, right? What? Who are you? Standing there was a beggar dressed in tattered rags. He's still begging at the church? The hooded beggar tentatively extended his hand toward Mel, pleading for relief with sad, slender fingers. Were he a generous young man, Mel would have given the beggar something. Were he generous, of course. Lord, get your filthy hands off me. Ooh, shit. I don't have a damn thing to give you right now. Don't you dare touch me. Suddenly, the beggar's hand turned upward. My eyes catch the beggar's. Her hood fell back, revealing a hairless head. Why? And a pair of red eyes gazing bitterly, though with a familiar, distinctive glimmer, at Mel. Red eyes. She immediately covered her face and turned to run. It can't be. The beggar that's always been here was a... But you said yourself they would not survive much longer. How could you be certain she was the same beggar? Ah, wait for me. Perhaps, as someone of such high social standing, all beggars appeared the same to you? Or perhaps you wanted to believe your meager generosity made a difference, that you did something of value. I will not say it is wrong to think so. Wait for me! I chase after the fleeing girl. Though I shout for her to stop, she continues to run. The rain is so heavy, I'm afraid I might lose her. I'm terrified. But I didn't do anything wrong, did I? I'm begging you, please stop. I just want to talk. I wonder if she must. I don't think she knows. Because she seemed to not understand the whole thing about, like, her father, why he was actually kicked out from the Rhodes place. So I bet she has no idea either. I wonder if Mel's gonna get so angry with her. Maybe he thinks that she intentionally kept it a secret and maybe he's gonna do something to her. Maybe he's accidentally gonna hurt her or something. Because he seems to be pretty agitated right now. She comes to a stop at a corner. Please do not go around this corner. It's you, isn't it? I'm sorry. Why are you apologizing? What I said back there was terrible, and for that, I'm truly sorry. I didn't realize it was you. Oh, is she gonna be like, so if it wasn't me, it doesn't matter? Now I know your truth. I know how you really are. Because she said, like, all aristocrats are the same. Please come back to me. If you're concerned about social status, I'll figure something out. And Nelly's getting married off soon enough. Yes, Nelly. Nelly did some horrible things to you. She's lost her mind. She must have told... I'm guessing Nelly told her the truth, right? She was talking nonsense. But don't worry, she'll be out of the picture soon enough. I'll make sure you're safe. Say something, please. Are you angry? You're angry, aren't you? I am not angry at you. I am not... Did you know everything? Did you come to our house, aware of everything? What? Did you? Tell me, please. The priest isn't around and everything Nelly said is a lie. You're the only one who'll tell me it's not true. What are you... Our relationship? I don't understand what you're saying. Ha! I see. You don't know. You don't know. It's for the best. Ha ha ha. Nelly's the only one who knows, and she'll be gone before long. Everything will be alright, so he's just not gonna tell her. Wow. Lord Mel. It'll all be alright. His mother knows, though. I don't think she'll be too impressed. Let's go back. I'll make sure you're never put in danger again. I'm begging you, stay with me. My appearance is no longer suitable to stand at your side. You saw how unsightly I am back by the church, did you not? Hair can grow back. That's not a problem. Now I truly look the part of the hideous witch. But I am to blame. It was a sin for me to find happiness in your kindness. What are you talking about? My sin was falling in love with you, not what happened to my father, nor how we had to spend our days. There's no sin in that. We have our whole lives ahead of us. Don't we? With enough time, this whole tragic mess will be behind us. Things will only get better from here. It'd be an awkward family reunion, because Nelly, I imagine she's not going to just be gone forever. She'll come back at some point, and like I said, the mother knows too. I'll be your prince, like the one who took the girl to see the outside world. So please, give me your hand. Come to me. Don't leave me all alone. I need you by my side. Please. I extend my hand around the corner. I sense her hesitating beyond the bend. I'm begging you. I can't see what's on the other side, but a vision of her reaching out to put her hand in mine wells in my mind. But that story never had an ending. What? She doesn't take my hand. I doubt the girl ever wrote that letter. She's not there when I turn the corner. Why? How did things end up like this? Where did I go wrong, oh God? And there's that maid. Your error was likely your kindness. Thoughtlessly, haphazardly spreading your generosity. But that generosity came from your own desire to avoid pain, for your own happiness. What should I have done? I can't take this. Everyone was happy. Nelly used to laugh and smile. She once meant the world to me. How did things end up like this? It's not my fault. I didn't do anything wrong. If you pretend like nothing happened, then perhaps they can go on smiling in your head. But regardless, you must follow the path you tread. It is your path alone. So, I was like, is he still out on the streets and the maid just found him, or is he back at his place? Because it's like, there's something about this maid, the fact that she's kind of like, she's the one who's guiding me on the story, the master, whoever the master is, and seems to know a lot. The one who was talking to this white-haired girl when she first showed up. I'm like, there's something about this maid. The path you chose when in that moment you decided to run. Make the wrong choice in those moments, and you shall find yourself on the road to ruin. I would have been better off not knowing, better off in the dark. I just wanted those tranquil days to last. They were supposed to last forever. At some point, your childhood must come to an end, and that ending may not be the one you anticipated. I can't stand this world. You yearned for a world that would treat you with kindness. What should I do? What should I have done? Someone, please, help me. You should return now. If you spend too long out here, you're liable to catch a cold. Now, let us return to our own time. Is that the end of the story here? The end of this door? I guess so. The crestfallen young man faded in the distance, and the decrepit double doors clacked shut. Through the shattered glass, you could see only the ruins of a garden, not a single rose growing within. You had evidently returned from the past. In the garden, weeds grew taller than people. You found it difficult to look at. A wolf howled in the distance. The children, the sea of roses, and the white-haired girl were nowhere to be found. You and the maid who called you master were the only people present in the mansion. What happened to them next? Oh, master, you would know better than I. Hee hee. My, you cannot remember? It seems this is quite serious, then. Worry not. My loyalty lies with you, master. Like, am I the grown-up Mel? Am I Mel? Like, who am I? I guess that's the big question. The mansion has witnessed more yet. Let us make our way to the second door. Your hand in hers, the maid guides you back through the kitchen and into the tea room. Her palms were still cold. You felt as though you were clenching ice. Master, do you wish to know the truth, no matter what may be hidden within? Or, if it is something you would be happier not knowing, would you rather remain in the dark? Oh, is that so? I wonder about their father. Yes, the flaxen-haired sibling's father, that we never actually saw. Do you think he knew about the white-haired girl? If he did, then perhaps he allowed her to stay because of how deeply he loved his wife. Or maybe because he did not want people to find out about her. I expect he too experienced many different emotions, but those pages of his story remain untold. Their parents likely had a turbulent tale as well, but theirs is not of consequence. To whom? I could not tell you. Oh, I want to know how that story, like, gosh, I can only imagine how awkward that would be once Mel returned to their house. Like, what happened afterwards. And what happened to the white-haired girl. I mean, she's on the main, like, the title screen. She's obviously a big character here. You and the maid crossed through the entrance hall, continuing your trek. At some point, the fire in the fireplace had faded to embers, emphasizing the lack of light within the mansion. The maid took a candlestick and lit it in the cinders. The small flame illuminated her pale face. On a whim, you asked the maid about herself. About me? I am a maid devoted to your service, master, as I have said. Oh, what was that? You are interested in my name? You flatter me. I truly do appreciate the question, but you are more than welcome to simply call me the maid. Also, it would make me much happier to hear you say my name after you have recalled who you are, master. A subtle smile rose to the maid's face, after which she began to lead you down a first-floor corridor. Still holding the maid's hand, you passed in front of a full-length mirror. In it reflected the warm light of the candle, which disappeared out of range shortly thereafter. Oh my, is something the matter? Did you come across something peculiar? Hee hee. The maid had not appeared in the mirror. Oh, though she was not the only one without a reflection. Or vampires. Vampires. Or ghosts. You reached the end of the corridor. There appeared to be a doorway, but the door itself was long since gone. leaving only a hole in the wall to frame the stairs behind it. Without hesitation, the maid descended into the darkness. You have more interest in this mansion, master, than in a mere maid, do you not? Though it pains me to say as much in your presence, master, this house is cursed. Yes, it is a curse that runs deep. As you just bore witness to, the majority of those who dwell within these walls fall into misfortune. I have served here for many years, and periods of happiness are as fleeting as a sugar cube in a cup of hot tea. Why did such tragedies befall them? If I were to guess, master, it was because you had not returned. But when you remember your true self, the mansion's curse should be broken. Next door is before us. Maybe I'm the grandfather? Because they said that it was the grandfather who had the house first, right? It appeared to be the entrance to a cellar. The disconsolate wooden door was visibly rotten in several places, and it seemed it might crumble at a single touch. You could hear the sound of something devouring meat beyond the door. Ooh, maybe there was a beast living within. Ooh, interesting. Before you had a chance to say you thought it was dangerous, the maid opened the door with a chilling smile on her face. Your first impression was that it smelled of blood. Alright, okay. We're going to the second door. What's happening here? (1707). Okay, so the first one took place in like the 1800s, I believe. The mansion sat in ruins in that era. Not a soul resided within. The grandeur of a house was lost to the ages. It was in perpetual decline. Not a flower grew in the garden. Dust and dirt blackened the plaster. Cobwebs blanketed the corridors. Ivy shrouded the outer walls. It was not a pleasant sight. As hard as I tried to fight it, I could not stop the mansion's descent into disrepair. The depth of the previous owner's grief, or perhaps despair, was far too much. After the beautiful flaxen-haired family, people stayed away from the mansion. They had no heirs, so their bloodline simply vanished into the depths of history. Oh, this happened afterwards. I feel really dumb. I'm just like, they took place during the Golden Age, right? The first one was the Golden Age of England, and they're saying afterwards, like, everything fell into disrepair. It had been about 50 years since the house last had a resident. The forlorn property appeared as though it had been abandoned for centuries, and the occasional villager who stumbled upon it did not remain there for more than a day. My time there was rather solitary. That was perhaps the loneliest time of my life. Everyone who visited the mansion feared it, and it was left without anyone to become its master. I even came to believe my time serving as a maid would come to an end in this era. However, one day, I noticed something out of the ordinary. As a servant of the house, I am almost immediately aware of any new presence within its walls. And there appeared to be someone downstairs. Can you imagine just how delighted I was? Though part of me was anxious about what kind of person I might find, the possibility it could be you had my heart aflutter. So, resisting the urge to rush, I headed for the basement. The cellar was where red wine, smoked meat, and other preserved foods were kept. By that point, the wine was practically antique. As I had expected, a man had made his way into the cellar. Ooh, he sounds like he's growling. It's like she said it's like he smelled like blood and growling, maybe a werewolf of some kind? Is anyone there? Although I am unsure if referring to him as a man is entirely accurate. This is creepy right off the bat. Oh my, this is quite something. Oh, creepy. Well, we're going off to, like, the first one started off so slowly, the descent into craziness. This is just starting that way. The very first thing I sensed was an almost unbearable stench. The odor emanated from the man, heightened by the food he had carelessly rummaged through. Blood-red liquid spilled from wine barrels, soaking the floor. His sunken eyes had a piercing, wolf-like glimmer. Ooh, maybe he's a werewolf. His teeth were sharp and yellowed, visible as he ripped into a chunk of meat. He grumbled in a seemingly inhuman tongue. I was looking at a beast, or perhaps a half-beast. There was another source of odor in the room, though. It had something of a kind of metallic tinge to it, and when I noticed this, I nearly passed out. The red liquid was not just wine, as I had assumed. The beast had, I presume, stolen a weapon from the village. A sword far too nice for him lay on the floor by his side. I could hardly imagine how many people's lives he had taken with that blade. He was visibly wet with blood, even in the darkness of the cellar, but at the same time it had an imposing gleam. The fine, luscious aroma of the wine could not mask the stench of blood and the beast. Holding my breath, I took a few moments to ponder. Ponder what? Oh, master, you know. Tell me, were you summoned here by the mansion? She's very cool. I mean, I guess she's a maid. She has to, like, always be proper, but damn, this girl is stoic. Did you come here knowing what kind of place it is? Hee. If you are in want of money, you are welcome to help yourself to some of the furniture. And I imagine the villagers would be willing to welcome you if you dressed yourself up a bit more like a person. Then you can trade the furniture for food and make your way to a larger town. The wolf was able to fool the innocent little girl simply by putting on clothing, after all. Oh dear, I was afraid you wouldn't understand me. What am I to do? I was in quite the predicament. Nevertheless, it meant a great deal to me that I had found someone who did not fear the mansion, be they human or beast. So I decided I should give him my assistance, while doing my best not to agitate him. Say, could you perchance be my new master? The mansion sat near the ocean. To say it was perched upon a cliff might make it sound rather intimidating, but you could see the beautifully clear sea through the windows, a glittering expanse of emerald and turquoise. If the mansion had been in proper condition, it would have been breathtaking against that backdrop. Here we go, another mansion that's creepy and has like bad things happen in it near the ocean, near a cliffside. I can't seem to escape, and also the talk of witches. I seem to be drawn to these games, don't I? I even wanted to plant orange trees in the garden. Though it was a tumultuous era, the sun still shone bright upon the land, which only served to emphasize the house's unsightliness. Oh yes, perhaps I should give you some more background information. At that period in time, a war had just drawn to a close. The once gorgeous wetlands were infested with crows picking at decaying remains. Bodies of soldiers fallen in battle continually washed up on the shores of coastal villages. The people wanted nothing more than for the curtain to draw on that deeply political contest. And when it finally did, the kingdom with its richly fertile shores was stripped of its independence, beginning a new era under new rule. The people were exhausted, their spirits wasted away, and the splendor of the ocean and sky did nothing to help. In my mind, the beast was emblematic of the times, emaciated and enveloped in the scent of blood. But the war came to an end. Thus the beast did not have to remain a beast, I thought. Did he? Very different from the Golden Ages. This is a very different time. And so I endeavored to make the beast more human-like. First, I needed to do something about his appearance. I would draw a bath, scrub away all the filth, and dress him in clothing left in the mansion. However, having sat unused for 50 years, the majority of garments had been devoured by insects and were of little use. So I searched the mansion top to bottom for anything the beast could wear, heated up some coals, and set to work ironing what I had found. At the time, steam irons had not yet been invented. We used plates of iron heated with coals. They somewhat resembled kettles. I even prepared meals for the beast in order to teach him proper table manners. This just makes me think of Belle teaching the beast how to kind of be more civilized. Although with the mansion in a nearly uninhabitable state of disarray, there was only so much I could do in the kitchen. And the only supplies I had to work with were what was left in the cellar. So this woman just stayed in this mansion that is like completely dilapidated, just waiting around for her master. That is dedication. I wonder if she's like rooted to the mansion. Maybe she can't leave for whatever reason. As such, I was not able to put to use the cooking skills I have learned in that flaxen hair's family's time. Now, you mustn't eat with your hands. Do you want to get your fingers and face dirty? You eat using a knife and fork. This is really giving me Belle and Beast vibes. See? Like this. I feel like I'm teaching a young child. Oh my, what are you holding your head for? Oh dear, perhaps I should be teaching you to speak before table manners. Worry not, we have plenty of time. You needn't act so frightened. Or perhaps you do not want to be understood at all. Would you be so kind as to tell me your name? You are, for now, still a guest. It is too soon for me to call you master. Or am I mistaken? Your name, that is what people call you. How about I start by telling you my name? I am called... Oh, B.E. Bestia. Your name is... or Bestia? Bestia. I see. Then that is what I shall call you, Bestia. My, you seem to be rather perplexed as to how I was still alive. He had in fact attempted to cause me harm. However, I am a servant of the house. The beast called himself Bestia. It is a curious thing. When I learned his name, he seemed to take on new importance in my mind. He was not a mere beast, but the thing called Bestia. Master, should I ever have the chance to hear your name, I am certain you too shall become more substantial a presence. But you must always remember, Master, that even if you do not remember your name, and even if you never know mine, you have always held a special place in my heart. And thus began my tranquil days with Bestia. Slowly he began to learn the human tongue, and I was, to be quite honest, rather thrilled. To be certain, I was afraid of the beast, but my fear was not so strong as my elation that there was someone else in the mansion, someone to whom I could speak, and someone that might become my master. Come now, you must pull weeds out at the roots or they will soon grow back. This is a task that requires perseverance. You do it like this, see? There you go. Grass. Oh, did you not expect that? What appears to be many plants on the surface is actually all connected within the soil. This is a task that requires a man's strength. If there were other servants, they could do it, so I apologize for making you tend to the garden, future master. Or perhaps now that you are all dressed up, do you wish to leave the mansion and find someone to fool, as the wolf did this sweet little girl? Have you no interest in remaining in such a disheveled house? Go on. Not want leave. Oh my, is that so? Hee hee. If you wish to stay, then I shall not stop you. On the contrary, I will gladly attend to you. I am waiting for the person who is to become my master. Forever waiting. I should be able to watch over you until the day you depart this world, old and wrinkled. And I can't remember the difference between the time... She said at least 50 years, and yet she looks exactly the same. There is something up with this girl. And the fact that she says that she'll be able to stay here and attend to him until he's old, and yet she seems to be immortal. Do you not believe me? Are you interested in becoming the master of this house? Will be. I have to wonder if you know what you are saying, although it matters little whether you do or not. Oh my, look at that! Now this brings back memories. This is called a rose. Do you know what a rose is? It is a type of flower. Not know. Do not know. I see. Then allow me to teach you. What you have here is not a real rose. The real rose is wilted and are sleeping in the soil. This is called an accessory. It is something women wear. Oh, this is it the rose necklace from Nelly? The beast held an ornamental... Oh, the white rose. That's the one that Mel had made for the white-haired girl. The beast held an ornamental white rose in his hands, an object someone, sometime, meant to give to someone else. Curiously, the white rose was just as stunning as it had been the day it was made, despite being buried in the earth for so many years. I hear roses make wonderful gifts. Hee hee. He stared intently at the decorative rose. I had presumed the beast would either discard it disinterestedly or destroy it, but much to my surprise, Bestia held it gently in his hands, as though it was something precious to him. Are you, perchance, considering giving it to me? So you are not. Very well. Is there someone else you would like to give it to? In that moment, a thought floated through my mind. The thing I had found in a pool of blood in the cellar was a monstrous creature indeed, but perhaps that was not, at its core, what he truly was. So I asked him a question. What is it that you desire, Bestia? This mansion fulfills people's desires. If you yearn for something, want, live, peace. Look at that filthy thing. A beast. It's a beast. It's eating goddamn sand. You really that hungry? Beast, you foul creature. Stay the hell back. Get any closer. Filthy beast. And I'll kill you. Several days passed by. As Bestia began to act more like a person, the mansion followed suit, slowly becoming more habitable, though not yet back to its former glory. No flowers grew in the garden, but neither were there weeds infesting it. The dusty corridors, shattered windows, rust-covered kitchen gradually returned to their proper states. But, as the maid said also, it's like, people seem to be cursed who come in this mansion, so the mansion can grant wishes and grant people's desires, but it also curses them. Bestia learned how to change his own clothes and how to draw a bath. No longer did I have to wait on him hand and foot. He could take care of a number of things all by himself. What we lacked for food, he acquired from the forest. Never did he go to purchase supplies from the village. Rather, he captured hares and gathered herbs hidden in the overgrowth. They were days without incident. And though such a life may be wont for excitement, peace is something you mustn't take for granted. Those who have it cast it aside, finding the leisurely flow of time dull. Only those who have never experienced it truly know how precious it is. Bestia appeared to be content. He wore an expression of solitary serenity. Someone, is anyone there? And then one day, a crack formed in the uneventful tranquility. Is anyone in there? Could you part with some food? I don't need much. Some food and water. Just a little. That's all I need. Bestia looked over at me as if seeking my aid. Ironic, no? It was the visitor who was truly in need of aid. I pondered for a few moments, deciding that I could simply not turn away someone calling upon the mansion. Had Bestia ordered me to not let him in, I would have followed his instructions, but he said nothing. Oh, thank God, someone's here. I was afraid it was deserted. You said you were in need of sustenance? Yes. It doesn't have to be much. Anything to quench this thirst. I got lost and it's been several days. Give me a few minutes. I will find... Let him in. Oh, look at him speaking like full sentences now. No problem. A firm, deep voice came from behind me. I was quite startled. When had the beast learned to act so much like a human? When had he learned to speak so clearly, and to behave so much like a master? Ah! Upon seeing Bestia, a look of terror appeared across the wanderer's face for a moment. To my eyes, Bestia was the very image of a head of our house. But to an outsider, he probably appeared to be nothing more than a beast in man's clothing. Prepare him a meal and a bed. I suspect he is quite tired. Thank you, very much. But in time, the fear drained from the man's face. Bestia sat precariously on the border between man and beast. Though he still had his doubts, the wanderer revised his first impression, deciding Bestia was human. As the wolf had fooled the little girl in the forest, he too had succeeded in playing the role of man. I thought I was a goner for a while there, but you really came to the rescue. And a meal like this on top of that? You really didn't have to. Though I guess it's not an appropriate thing to say as I'm eating. What kind of meat is this? Hare. It's damn tender for rabbit. And here I thought it was beef. You have quite the skilled chef. Hee hee. Oh, is she the one who cooked this? Is she your wife? Oh, no, I am merely a servant. A female servant, huh? I don't see that very often. This mansion's just full of surprises. I can hardly believe it. Lost for days, and as soon as I think I'm dead, there it is. Thinking back on it now, it's miraculous. Well, we'll see. Hopefully, he hasn't doomed himself by coming into this mansion. But why are you two living alone in a house on a cliff? Oh, I beg your pardon, asking so many questions without telling you about myself. My apologies, just a little too excited to finally see some other people. I am a merchant. I do international trade. Until a few years back, spice exports pretty much all came from one place. But now that we've established trade routes of our own, my country's fighting tooth and nail to push its exports. And in fact, some have lost a few teeth in the fight already. But that's just how it works. It's a cutthroat world. You do what you must to survive. That's just how it works, the merchant said, a sorrowful look on his face. He was quite clearly putting on a show, though. Confidence in himself and his homeland radiated from that man. I came to this land to do business, but much to my chagrin, I somehow ended up lost in the forest. Had I wandered around for much longer, I'd have lost the chance to ever see my beloved again. Your beloved? Yes, sir. I'm constantly out on business, so we only get to see each other a few times a year. But she always waits for my return. I'd like to introduce you to her if I ever get the chance. She's a pretty girl, if not especially striking. Is that so? The merchant was a man of many words, and I, for one, do not mind a lively supper table. Though I know not how Bestia felt, at the very least I was glad we had invited the wanderer into the mansion. He was, after all, holding a proper conversation with someone, and he seemed to be having success concealing his piercing, beast-like gaze. However... Oh, right, I stopped by the village before entering the forest, and I heard a bone-chilling tale there. As soon as the merchant brought up the subject, a palpable tension spread through the room. They say there have been sightings of a beast. Oh shit, did this guy just like sneak in pretending that he was just here to check it out for himself and maybe he's gonna try and kill the beast? It's a creature unlike anything anyone's ever seen before. Not a wolf or a bear or anything like that. It even attacked the village once, killing several people. Thankfully, the men managed to drive it out. But the creature is still alive. There's nothing in this world scarier than a vicious beast. So, you should keep an eye out. Wouldn't want to accidentally let a murderous beast into your home. At the villager's insistence, I had the smithy forge me a knife. Is that knife... Huh? With you now? Well, yeah, I've got it on me. Only good to defend myself with, but it's better than... That knife. You brought that knife. You're here to kill me with that knife. What? Uh-oh. You're going to stab me again and again with that knife, like they did last time. That's why you're here, isn't it? What? What are you talking about? What's gotten into you? Stab and stab and stab. Calm down. What are you so worried about? I'm not going to hurt you with this. Uh-oh. What did you just say? Eek! I like to imagine that before the wolf ate the poor little girl, he said, "Is this what I always looked like?" That beast. What's your problem? What's wrong? Talk like a human. Is me. Stop. Stay back. Get any closer and I'll stab you to death. You act like you only just realized I'm a beast. Eek! That's right. I'm a beast. I killed them. Stay back. And I'll do the same to you. Ah, help! In his hand, Bestia held his sword. Perhaps it had been hidden under the table, or maybe behind his chair. Regardless, it was as though he expected this to happen. The merchant kicked aside a chair, attempting to flee. The Bestia closed the distance in an instant, knocking him back. He lost his balance and slammed against the wall. But still, he made to escape, though the beast stood blocking his path. No, please stop this. Don't kill me. My beloved is waiting for me back home. I can't leave her behind. And why should I care? Damn. I don't know if, like... Wow. Wow, okay. So just, like... That was pretty ballsy of the merchant to, like... Clearly he thought that Bestia looked strange when he first came in, and yet he still mentioned the thing about, like, you gotta keep an eye on that beast. Why would you say something like that? A dreadful scream echoed through the dining room. I reflexively covered my ears. Please help. Someone. Anyone. No one's going to come for you. This mansion's a long way from town. Ah, help. That woman, where did she... Why isn't she here? She was just... You'll kill me if I don't kill you, and so I must show you that I will. I must show you that I'm serious. I must kill you or you won't understand. You just won't understand. If I don't show you firsthand, you won't understand. I'll make you understand. I'll make your flesh and bones understand. Kill. I'll kill you. I'll kill you. Gah! Kill you. Ah. Monster. That's right, I am a beast. Wow. Ha 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 ha. Hee 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 ha 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 ha. Ho 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 ha. And so on and so forth with all of the laughing. Well, this one definitely got dark very quickly. Yeah, I'm not going to read all that. Continue with laughing, 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 and so on. They had been enjoying a peaceful meal around the table together just minutes earlier. So, what had triggered this? If I were to guess, the merchant saying the word knife is what caused the beast to snap. A simple, small thing set him off. I could not comprehend it. Bestia, who had said he wished for peace, was staring down at the ravaged corpse of the merchant, with a look of ecstasy on his face. Master, can you understand how he felt? Even just a little? Did he not yearn for peace, but for slaughter? Alright guys, so that will do it for part 2 of my House in Fata Morgana Let's Play. Wow, I mean, somehow, especially with the ending of the first door, it went in a way I was kind of expecting it to, but also in ways I could not have expected at the same time. It got so much more crazy and messed up than I could have imagined, so that kind of gives me some insight into what kind of story this is going to be. We're going to be dealing with some pretty heavy themes, I'm guessing, in this one, and then the second door going right off and much darker with this man-beast murdering a seemingly innocent person and the maid taking care of him. So that's got me intrigued. There was no like lead up to it. It was just straight up like, all right, we've got like this man-beast thing who is just trying to like basically just keeping their veneer of humanity but can snap at any moment. So that should make for some interesting potential issues down the line with the story. So I am very interested. While this story started kind of slow with the first door, it is escalated quite a bit. So I am excited to see what is going to happen next. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope to catch you for part 3. Until then, bye. Special shoutouts to my top tier patrons: Nana, Kaori Mikoto, Revealing Storm, Tequila Mockingbird, Jared Fan, Saya, Asborn Kennedy, Harry Gazif, Pancake G, iCognito, and Matt Goldsmith.